Hi everyone, Trina here. Thank you so much for being with me. We were on the divine the hidden divine secrets, and we were at 1.3, and we were leaving off on the Viraji Masters, and she was explaining that she met the Viraji when she was 9 years old, and I started having profound experiences at about age 9 and 10 myself. And it's interesting to hear what she's got to say about the Viraji Masters and what they are to her. So she says, the Viraji are an unbroken line of spiritual adepts whose purpose is spiritual liberation of the soul within this lifetime. Like Jesus, they are interested in helping people free themselves from the burden of the worlds of suffering. I had first met these elusive adepts in the spring of my sophomore year in college at Florida State University. They were the great spiritual teachers that I had prayed for in my early years. Not only did they understand how the multidimensional planes of the universe are layered, but they also knew the spiritual mechanisms that allow us to travel from one dimension to the other. Discovering the Viraji was like finding the roadmap to creation. The name Viraji derives from the Sanskrit root viraj, meaning detachment. This name lies at the heart of the mission, for these sages have become detached from the affairs of the world and follow a path of inner truth. Unlike those of us still ensnared in our emotions, our minds, sexuality, or materialism, they focus on the inner landscapes of heaven, transcending the physical plane through soul travel. The Viraji teach that the three purest aspects of God are love, sound, and light, the Trinity of creation itself. Love is the force that binds the universe together, the very fabric of creation. It is the essence from which all things are composed. The constantly moving adamantine particles that are the living body of the cosmos itself. Sound is the mechanism through which all worlds come into being. The underlying vibration that creates and sustains all things. In Freemasonry, this is called the lost note. This essential knowledge has been rediscovered by our physical sciences today and is referred to as string theory. In the beginning was the Word, begins the Gospel of John. This is the sound current that has been known as the Om, the Shabda, the Vani, the Nada, and the music of the spears. Many of us have heard the roar of this current in moments before we drop into sleep. Through specific exercises, the Viraji teach the aspiring initiate to surf the sounds towards the center of creation. We find a reference to this in Edmond Bordeaux's Ziziki's Essene Gospel of Peace. And when the sun is high in the heavens, then shall you seek the holy stream of sound. In the heat of a noontide, all creatures, and seek the shade. The angels of the earthly mother are silent for space. Then it is you shall let into your ears the holy stream of sound, for it can only be heard in the silence. Truly, this is the voice of God. If you did not know it, for as it is written, in the beginning was the sound. The sound was with God, and the Word was God. I tell you truly, when we are born, we enter the world with the sound of God in our ears. Wow, I've seen this. Even the singing of the vast chorus of the sky and the holy chants of the stars in their fixed rounds. It is then that the holy stream's sound transverses the vault of stars and crosses the endless kingdom of the Heavenly Father. Emphasis, mine, in parentheses, quotes. The Viraji teach that creation is divided into many dimensions, all vibrating at slightly different frequencies. This is exactly what I know to be true as well. Each vibration has its own resonance frequency, and you must be able to attrain or match that vibration to enter into that dimensional realm successfully and hold your brain's form and consciousness. So with that, you have to be able to move through and with these vibrations and attrain or resonate with them so you can stay in that dimension. The is the mechanism that allows each dimension to come into existence. Sound organizes atoms into the shapes. Yes, that's what I saw. I saw the sound emanating from source. And as it was emanating from source, the waves collided with particles. And the particles and the waves, when they hit each other, it started to form geometry and shapes. And the word came from the shapes and the geometry, and literally the letters and the alphabet was formed from geometry. And this was what I saw. So it says, sound organizes the atoms into the shapes that we recognize, creating form, mass, height, and weight. Yet, this sound is beyond duality. Yes, it's before matter, emanating from every atom. Through the hearing of this cosmic vibration, we can establish a direct contact with Christ consciousness itself. As this divine vibration moves out through the worlds of form, it generates friction, creating stars and suns and the entire spectrum of visible light. And it has been said that the sun itself is a visual expression of this word. Sound brings all things into being from a state of potentialized possibility. This is why it has long been said in magic, to know the true name of a thing is to be able to command it. This is why when Adam came to earth and started naming everything, they put him to sleep. They said, ruh-roh, he's way too smart and he knows how to name everything. That means he can name us, and after he has the name, can control and dominate them. So this is why when you're born also, the first thing they do is they give you a name. Think about that. So, this brings us to light, the transmitter of heat, warmth, and illumination. Without light, nothing would have life. Thus, the ancients saw the sun as a visible symbol for God itself, the unmanifested source behind all things. It was this profound image that I had seen painted on the walls of the dormitory room in the dream that I had so long ago. The ancient symbol for the sun. The ancients believed that there is both a physical and a spiritual sun, the supreme benefactor of the material and spiritual worlds. Yes, this is what I've seen too. There is one that's controlling all of this right here. The Mayans call this the Hanub, Ku, a term meaning and one measure, one heartbeat behind it all. Yeah. This is the great central sun, or the light of lights of worlds. This is what I believe to be true as well. Paracelsus, the famous alchemist of the 15th century, wrote, "There is an earthly sun, but there is the eternal sun, which is the source of all wisdom. And those who have spiritual senses have awakened to life will see that sun and be conscious of his existence. But those who have not attained spiritual consciousness may feel his power by an inner faculty which is called intuition." Franz Hartmann, the German theosophist, and a friend of a renowned theosophist, Madame Helena Blavatsky, writes, "The sun is the center of power, or the heart of things. The sun is the symbol of wisdom, a storehouse of power. Each living being contains within himself a center of life which may grow to be a sun. The terrestrial sun is the image or the reflection of the invisible central celestial sun." The invisible. That's a good thing to remember. Invisible. True home. If you can see it, invisible light in the visible light spectrum, it's an illusion and it's a reflection. So, to find that which is real, you need to know that you cannot view it with visible light in the 7-ray prism spectrum. This is a prism of light. It's not the real light, the true light. Literally, we can't see. But you can with your spiritual faculties. This is your true sight and your true eyes and your true light. But it is like the central sun and our real sun. Our sun that we see is a projection from the one that is unseen. So, okay, so where were we? Madame Blavatsky writes. Yep, okay, so, hence, throughout the centuries, many knew that the spiritual realms are the true world of cause, while the physical world are the ground or the effects. In simple terms, this means that our thoughts, beliefs, and words have the power to change our reality. Our cultures are generated by what we think and feel and do, shaping the very foundation of the world we experience. Some 25 years ago, when I first met Shasta, this was the path that I was traveling, about Isis. I knew only that she had been a great queen of Egypt, and that along with her husband Osiris and her son Horus, she had been part of the most famous Trinity in all of Egypt. For over 7,000 years, legends surround her, myths of courage, resurrection, eternal life. But I had not delved into these matters too deeply then. I was deep into the lessons of my third initiation with the masters of the Far East. Hold the phone, you gotta be kidding me. I went through that initiation as well. Amazing books. I would suggest you all read them. Maybe I will read them to you. This was part of how I got my connection back to what is bigger than that which I can see. Just like Wayne Steiger, he's been talking about going into these deep underground caverns and these magical tables and this technology and all of these shields of protection that only certain energetic bodies can pass through. Yeah. Super fun. So with that, yeah, we'll probably get into some of the master teachings after we get through the Divine Feminine. But what a great coincidence. So I was deeply involved with my lessons of my third initiation with the Masters of the Far East. So now, let's talk about the awesome power of initiation itself. Just to let you know, Shasta is one of those masters. The reluctant initiate. There is a classic story about a young seeker who was eager to have his second initiation. He had come to his master full of ambition, and he wanted to advance quickly up the ranks. Every day he would say to his teacher, "Give me the second initiation, please. Give me my second initiation, I beg of you." All in time, his patient master would reply, "All in time." But in Sheila's mind, it was not fast enough. He ranked all initiates according to their initiation levels. So, whenever he met any of the other disciples, he would ask, "What initiation are you?" They told the Chela whom he should be friends with and whom he should try to emulate. Some would nod and say proudly, "I am a second initiate." Others would scratch their chins and say thoughtfully, "I am a third initiate." Still others would take a deep sigh and say quietly, "I'm a fourth." The older ones would smile kindly and shake their heads and say in compassionate tones, "Yes, I am a fifth." One day, as the Chela sat in the audience with his master, he watched another disciple that was summoned. As the student bowed in respect before his teacher, the master spoke, "Zutsu, it is now time for me to offer you your sixth initiation. Are you ready?" "Oh no, master." The older disciple protested, "Please do not give me another initiation. Master, I beg of you." The young Chela was shocked as Zutsu left the master's building. The boy ran after him and caught up to him and grabbed him by the arm. "Why?" he stammered, incredulously. "Why would you turn down such an opportunity? That is what all of us want, to become great masters. How could you turn down such an offer?" The wise student smiled down at him and said, "When I entered the Master's teaching during my first initiation, I left my family business and gave up my inheritance, thus learning to place the inner world above the outer one. During my second initiation, I let go of my wife and my children, who could not find their way to any spiritual path, let alone mine, and thus I learned detachment. And to allow others to pursue their own evolutionary paths. During my third initiation, I came down with a crippling disease and discovered that beneath it was my own suppressed rage from childhood and anger at losing my family. I released it and I healed. Then, my fourth initiation. My house was swept away by a flood. I went to live in the forest, learning to eat the seeds and the berries. There I learned humility, appreciation for animals and plants, to move into a sympathetic resonance with nature. Finally, during my last initiation, the fifth, I died twice and came back to life. Becoming twice born. Now, I am just beginning to walk the path of my true immortality. The young Sheila's mouth hung open. It was a moment before he could gather his thoughts or wits. "But why?" he blurted out before he could stop himself. "Why do you keep going on at all?" Zoot Suit smiled. "Because in losing all these things, I have found something much greater." The Chela could barely utter the words. "But what? What is that?" "I have found myself." And friends, can I tell you, that's about how it goes. The initiations are tough, and they will bring you to your knees, and they will make you lose everything you worked your whole life to gain. And it will make you look at everything with a new set of eyes. And most people, they pursue the love and light and fairies and unicorns path. And boy, that's a great path to be on. But sometimes you have to get through the night and walk on the path when it's dark and there's shadows lurking in the woods. And when you really start to dive in and face all within you that needs to be looked at, all of the darkness within you that needs to be healed and needs to be heard, you will find yourself. But the path is hard, and part of it is the breaking down. So if some of you are feeling like you're just getting your butts handed to you and you can't catch a break, it's because you're getting ready to come into a new level of awareness of who you are. And through these struggles, you will find great strength. And through these struggles, when you get through them, you will look back on them as some of your greatest treasures. But when you're going through them, whoo, they will test you to levels of which you didn't think were possible. And no, the level of the testing that has been brought forth is only due to the fact that you knew you could master it. So have faith in yourself. You will surprise yourself with the things that you are capable of that you didn't even know you could do. So I love you all. We will pick up on the next one with the Catalyst event. So thanks for being here, and thanks for being part of my soul tribe. And like I said, it all started with a sound, and sound is vibration. And my soul tribe is riding my vibe, and our vibration is becoming one sound. That's powerful. So I love you all, and I look forward to riding these waves of sound, love, and light with you all. May soul and spirit be with us all, and favor be with us always. See you on the next one.